All right, so this is something that people have been asking for a while now. Got a little bit of a smudge here. All right, good to go. So people have been asking for this kind of video. These are like, I'm gonna do a military like story time type deal once a week. If you guys like these, hit the like button. Like leave a comment below saying yes or no, and that's pretty much all you gotta do. But if during the video, if you guys like these kind of videos or these kind of stories, and I'll do them once a week. I have enough stories from Afghanistan that if I do them once a week, we can do this for years. I haven't really told a lot of people this stuff, like my wife and maybe a buddy and my aunt. Kind of the only people that have heard a lot of these stories. So you guys will hear a lot of these stories that I've never even told anybody. So should be kind of interesting to tell the public. Like I said, if you guys like them, leave a like. If you don't like them, then let me know in the comment section. I just gotta gauge the feedback on my crowd and see if you guys actually do enjoy these or not. Okay, so I got to Afghanistan in February of 2012. So you guys don't know me, I was a sniper for like 6 years in the Army. That's all I did, really. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq was boring and hot. Afghanistan was very interesting and fun. So anyway, I got to Afghanistan in February of 2012. I was in country for a week, and I was attached to a SEAL team. That's pretty much what my job was just do me things and work with them. The very first thing we went on was a clearing up of a village that was full and riddled with IEDs, and it had been like that for years. It's been years since anybody lived in there. It had Taliban control, and our job was go in there, clear it, and give it back to the people so they can live a normal life. Now, with that being said, it is February, and it is freaking cold in Afghanistan. Everything is frozen over, basically. The ground's hard as hell. There's snow, ice, everything. So I'm gonna use this whiteboard. I'm gonna kind of illustrate some things that were going on so you guys can kind of get a visual of the layout. Okay, so remember the ground is frozen. Now they have these things called choke points where this is where they usually would stick an IED because you're like forced to drive through it. So we had like one crazy choke point going through the city, or going into the village. So we'll say like there's a hill here, so there's a hill, and the road kind of went through here. It's not a road, it's like a dirt path. We're using side-by-sides, by the way, because they're so narrow path. And here's the other side of the hill. Okay, choke point right here. Crazy choke point. Our EOD team cleared it. It was frozen, so they couldn't pick up anything. Nothing was found there. All right. So we went about our way. We went up here. There's a little valley right here. We set up a truck here, and there's a hill right here and a hill right here. And then off to this way was towards the village. Village was off to that way. I was up in a fighting position up here. Gun truck was right here. Afghan people were here doing whatever Afghani people do. These are the guys that were with us, fighting with us, by the way. Okay. So, with that layout being showed to you guys right there, that one I just did. Now, I was up on this hill, and it was probably 4, 5 in the evening when the warmest part of the day, and everything was starting to defrost off before it got cold again. So the guys that we're working with, they ran back to get some supplies or whatever, but they're coming back, and there's a truck full of them. There's 7 of them. All right. I'm gonna try. This kind of stuff is not gonna be. I'm not gonna go into crazy detail as of what I saw because I know I got a lot of young viewers, so I'm not gonna tell you guys everything. But they were coming back, and the ground was defrosted. They drove through that same spot that we just drove through. This is crazy and still gives me goosebumps. But they were driving through that same spot, and all of a sudden it just defrosted enough where that pressure plate went off, and it shot all 7 of those dudes up in the air into nothing. And right when that happened, right when that huge explosion went off, like right behind me. We thought it was incoming, and then like contact was initiated from the hills because we can hear them we can hear them chatter. We can hear their chatter. Like we can hear, and we saw the Taliban setting up on the hills for like an hour. We didn't want to shoot at them. We were trying to gauge them, and they were trying to gauge us. It was our first time like in this area. So I just remember sitting on this hilltop. That truck got blown up right behind me. Contact initiated instantly. Like being a new guy getting shot at for the first time, it was crazy. But I remember the guy sitting next to me, he's pretty experienced. He just kind of like stood up and smacked me in the back of the head because I was like not paying. I was like, do I shoot at this guy? Like, I don't, what the hell is going on? So I'm like sitting there looking through this guy through my scope. I'm like, kind of in shock and all. It probably only lasted like 3 seconds that I just sat there. But it was long enough to where he's like, what the hell are you doing? Shoot. But I was sitting there looking through the scope, and all I could see is this guy sitting behind like a PKM or RPK or something like that. Some type of machine gun. And I'm just sitting there, I was like, what the hell? And then when I started cracking rounds off it, like it hit me. I was like, holy shit. I've been here for a week, and I'm already seeing somebody shooting at me. That was the craziest feeling ever, was seeing the muzzle blast come off and you're returning fire at somebody. But during the midst of this firefight, it probably lasted about 30 or 40 minutes, something around there. Nothing like super long. I've been in some really If we do more of these, I've been in some really long ones. I have like one that was like almost 4 hours long. That one was intense, but it was awesome. So like in the middle of this entire thing, my buddy, that's another story later, but he is not with us anymore, and he told me he needed a battery. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is my first firefight. I have to run down the side of a hill in the middle of fire to grab a battery so he can talk to the birds. This is fun. So I just picked up my gun and I just took off, running down the side of this hill while we're getting shot at, just to grab him one battery that was about this big so we can talk to the birds so we didn't lose communication with them. I've never been so sweaty because I had to run down the hill and then go back up the hill wearing full gear. Holy crap. I was in really good shape back then though. Now I'm just fat and ugly. So when I get back up there, the firefight basically had stopped by the time I got back up the hill, but I got the dang battery for him. Anyway, everything cooled down. Once the birds came in, they scattered like little girls they are. And it was time to bed down for that night. Well, I didn't have a freaking sleeping bag with me. My sleeping bag was with the other truck who was down in the village, and they weren't going to bring it up to me. So I slept through that night. It was really, 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 really cold because I was wet from running up and down the hills, and it was February in Afghanistan on the side of a mountain. So anyway, after that night was done, that was the coldest I've ever been in my life. And it was more like, here, welcome to Afghanistan kind of deal. They're just kicking your ass. That's kind of how I felt waking up. All right, so anyway, I wake up the next morning and we're sitting there. Everybody starts huddling around because they can hear the Taliban setting up and we can start seeing them. So I open up an MRE and I start eating it real quick. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta poop. I've gotta poop real bad. I don't want to be in a firefight when I gotta poop. I'm gonna use an illustration because this is probably all within the first 24 hours of this little first clearing up. I was in 3 or 4 ticks that would start and stop and start and stop. Ticks means troops in contact, by the way, which means just getting shot at. And this one of that little tiny period was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Never did it again, but I'm about to illustrate it for you. All right, so earlier, remember I told you guys that choke point was right here? Well, here's the hill that I was on. That was the first time getting shot at. Truck was here. Gun position was right here, pointing that way. Another hill was here. Okay? So I wake up, do my thing. I was like, man, I gotta poop. So I started walking this way with another dude. Me and another guy want to take a poop together. That's just what you do in Afghanistan. Gotta have somebody to go with. So I go over here, go to do my little dookie-doo. But I didn't bring my gun. I left my gun right here and my body armor right here. So I'm walking over here like a jackass with no body armor whatsoever, no helmet, nothing. On top of a hill. So after I'm done doing my little duty over here, I thought, you know what? Granted, remember, I told you guys we could hear them setting up in their positions over here. Like, what was I thinking? We could hear the Taliban that they were setting up and looking at us and watching us. So I go walking back like an idiot. And somewhere right about here, somewhere right about in the middle of that hill, as I'm walking back with a buddy of mine, all I hear is, and I just turned to my left and dove headfirst down this hill and slid on my belly all the way down, freaking halfway down this hill. And remember, I get up and I look at him and he's like, holy shit, we don't have a gun. That was probably one of the dumbest things I ever did in my life, because we go crawling back up to the top of this hill to try to see if we can get up and start running back down to where all our gear was. But all we can hear is, that's all we could hear the entire time. So we're just sitting there and we kind of like put my back against the thing. I was like, dude, what do we do? He's like, okay, we got this. And all of a sudden, he goes, right when you hear the 50 go off, just take off running. I was like, what the hell? What kind of plane is that? Whatever. So right when I hear them, the Madus go, we just stand up and we just book it. Yeah, I had to grab my balls and just do it. That's pretty much what happened there. Got back over the truck, shot a gun a few times or whatever, and then the whole thing cooled off. So that's pretty much the end of my first day. First patrol in Afghanistan was that. That's pretty much what happened, yeah. That's the first time getting shot at. Don't take a word of the wise. Don't take a poop in Afghanistan without your gear. How about that? But anyway, we go back and we get back. See, we're riding side by side. So like I said, like if that thing would have went off, that IED that killed all 7 of those guys, if it would have went off on us, it would have killed probably half of like a lot of people. It would have been bad. I mean, the crater of that thing was bigger than this table. It was like as big as this wall behind me. Like it was big. Like it was a very large blast. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the first time I got shot at. Now these kind of stories, like I said, I have plenty of them. I can do I can do this every week for you guys if you guys want. I've never really told the public any of these stories, but it's kind of interesting, I guess, because I mean, if I was younger or old, I mean, I just like seeing and watching this kind of stuff. So anyway, like I said, if you guys like these things and want to see more of them, do me a favor, hit that like button. Leave a comment below, let me guys know. This isn't like a sympathy type deal anyway. I'm not asking for anybody to say thank you for your service or anything. This is just me getting stuff off my chest to you guys. So anyway, I'm gonna go shoot guns. That's what we're doing today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.